YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to Paul's Wrath. My name is JD, and today we're continuing with our series to play through Pokémon Crystal in order of the Pokédex, with a few exceptions here and there. Today's Pokémon is going to be Dunsparce. Dunsparce is known as the land snake Pokémon. We're going to pause and go over the stats real quick, and then we'll dive into the actual playthrough. HP is 100, attack and defense is 70, special attack and special defense is 65, and speed is 45. This Pokémon is a normal type. It looks like it should be normal ground. It is known as the land snake Pokémon, so that would make sense to me. The one weakness with this Pokemon is its speed is 45. However, in Generation 2 Pokemon Crystal, by nature of the game, you're going to overlevel a little bit. So we'll be able to compensate for our speed for most of the game. However, in the end of the game, when we got these high level Pokemon with red and even blue, we're not going to outspeed as much, and it's going to be a hindrance. But for most of the game, not a big problem. I've used this Pokemon maybe once or twice. I think the first time or second time I played through Pokemon Silver when I was a kid, I caught a Dunsparce and realized how horrible it was and boxed it. Without further ado, let's dive into the actual playthrough. We named this Pokemon Hermes, and I'll go over why here in a second. We're going to face the first battle of the game, which is against our rival. We gave him a Totodile. Wasn't really a great option. We have no weakness to any of the starters, so I chose Totodile because we haven't played Totodile in a while. We named it Hermes because those little wings it has kind of reminds me of Hermes, the messenger god of Greece. It has little wings on his, on his shoes or whatever they are, so that's why I named him Hermes. And we're going to move on, and we're going to face these trainers and try to level up, and we're going to go over some things with this Pokemon. Rage is its primary attacking move. Actually, it's only attacking move, but it's primary attacking move for about a good third of the game. Rage is a 20 base power normal move. It gets up to 30 because it is stab, so we get 30 power out of it. And what it does is it hits, and then if the Pokemon hits back and we use Rage again, it ups how much damage Rage is putting out. Now, the overlay is not showcasing this. I don't know if it has the capacity to do it. I didn't create the overlay. Someone else did. I don't really care if it shows the overlay, but if you're asking why it's not showing it, it just doesn't show it. Okay, if you want to know how much effective power it is, I couldn't tell you. I just know I think the damage goes up like a stage every time it gets hit while Rage is initiated. The first couple battles are pretty good with this Pokemon. Now the problem with Rage is it only has 20 power points, and we do have to use a handful of Rages to get through some battles. So the biggest thing here is about managing power points. The other move we start the game with is Defense Girl. It ups our defense by one stage. This move really isn't that useful in the early game. It does up our defense. It does make it so we can't take a lot of damage. In the other, it really doesn't work well until you get another move way later in the game, and by then we've gotten rid of it. But we can always get it back because there's a TM for it. We're knocking out this Bug Catcher's Pokemon, and we've already had Rage like up by one stage, so it's already just obliterating this team. We win, and we're going to face this. We're going to run away from this Pidgey, actually. We do face Bellsprout Tower, but I'm not showcasing that. We head right into Faulkner's Gym, where we're going to face this Spearow here. Now, this is not showcasing Rage very well because we get a crit here. And if it wouldn't went for like even Leer, we still would have knocked out in the next turn. And this next trainer here has two Pidgeys. Is this going to showcase Rage? Are we going to get to see Rage? I hope so, because I don't want to get sand attacked. It misses an attack. Well, that's fun. So Rage gets built up, and then the second Pidgey is almost a one-shot. Does way more damage, and then we get the knockout. Very good. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and face our first gym leader of the game, which is Faulkner. Faulkner's a flying type specialist, and he lead out with a Pidgey. I really thought he would go for Mud Slap here, but he does not go for Mud Slap. We up their defense by one stage just to make sure we don't take too much damage. We're going to two-shot the Pidgey, and we're going to two-shot the Pidgeotto. He's going to hit us, building up our Rage. We get the win. We actually get a pretty useful TM here. This is the only way we can get by our second rivals with this TM, which is Mud Slap. Heading on, we took on pretty much every battle we possibly could through the course of getting to this gym, the Bug Gym, and we are at a very nice hit points right now, 69, very nice. Well, until Ladybug decided to hit us, but we're using Rage, and like I said, it's really the only move we can use. We also added Glare. Glare's not really useful. It can paralyze the opposition. Right now, we're just getting some levels. Some other things about this Pokemon, we did go back and get the Pink Bow. If you don't know this, after you beat Faulkner, you can actually head back and talk to Tuscania Tuesday, and she will give you the Pink Bow. It gives a 10% boost to all normal moves, so that means Rage went from a whopping 30 power to 33 power. It's pretty funny, but we'll take the damage, extra damage as we can get it in the early game. Now, we are going to get some pretty good moves that are going to coincide very well with the Pink Bow. We do get access to Headbutt, we get access to Return. We actually, via level up, I think we get a move called Takedown. I don't think we get Double, I think it is Takedown. I can't see it right now because we're facing a Bug Catcher, and we're going to one-shot this Beedrill here because our Rage has been building. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to two-shot the Beedrill. And it actually hits a lot, so we get a really boost on our Rage there. I did not know. I thought it just did one per turn. We're going to leave here and heal. We only have 7 Rages left. You just never know. We want to be rather safe than sorry. Don't want to take any unnecessary resets unless we have to. We're going to head back in. and we're going to face Bugsy. He's the gym leader. He's a specialist on bugs, and he's going to lead out with a Metapod. Metapod won't really let us do much. What we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and go for Rage. We want to go for Tackle. There's a Tackle, and now our Rage is going to build. There we go. We got 2 stages of Rage, and Kakuna should be a one. Nope, not a one-shot. Got close, though. And now Scyther comes out. He will attack us. Scyther does not go for Leer. I've never seen Scyther go for Leer. Always goes for Quick Attack or Fury Cutter. But we get a 2-hit knockout over the Scyther. Very easy win over Bugsy. And with that being said, we're going to head right out of the gym. Going to go heal up real quick. And we're going to face off against our second rival battle. The hardest rival battle in the game usually. And he will lead out with a Ghastly. Now this is where getting Mud Slap is very important. If we did not have this, we'd have to go spam out all these power points and use Struggle. And that just is not fun. If you watch the playthrough with Fortress and Pineco, having to span all of our power points is not fun at all. But we're going to use Mud Slap on the Ghastly. It is a 2-shot. As soon as we wake up, there we go, knock it out. And now we can use Rage on the rest of the Pokemon. The biggest thing with Zubat is he's going to try to confuse us, which he does. And we hit ourselves. And all we do is hit him one more time and he's out. I think he just reset our Rage counter actually, so we probably got to restart that. We're going to go for Rage on the Croconaw. It's a 2-shot. We knock it out. Very easy win over our second rival battle. We get the win, and we're going to move right on and head towards Goldenrod. But we're going to go stop here and pick up a move, which is very important to our progression. There's a Super Potion there, and we're going to add Headbutt. Headbutt is a 70 base power move. It's going to be 77 with, it's going to be 70 base power. It's going to be 110 with stab, and you add in the pink bow and things like that. It becomes very powerful. We're going to face this final trainer here, and then we're going to head into Goldenrod City, where we're going to pick up some moves and some other things, but it's going to be a natural progression of the game, and Headbutt is absolutely obliterating what's in our path. Very good, so we win. I'm going to move right on to Goldenrod City. We grab an Ether and head on. National Park, we're going to pick up TM28, which is Dig. Dig is very useful for this Pokemon, especially with the next couple gym leaders. We're facing Whitney's gym. We're going to Super Sim in here. How Dig can help out here is Whitney likes to use a move called Rollout. Rollout accumulates damage over time, so it can break up the combo if we use Dig. However, we are a normal type Pokemon with Headbutt, so that's not going to be necessary here. Headbutt is going to one-shot the Clefairy. We do not outspeed the Miltank. She could have been smart here and gone for Stomp. However, she decided to go for Rollout, so we get a 2-hit knockout. Pretty easy win over Whitney, and that's going to give a 10% boost to all of our normal attacks. I think it's a boost to our speed as well. We're not going to learn Pursuit. We don't need Pursuit. We have a much better move to take care of Ghost-type Pokemon than Pursuit. We have Dig. Dig has been working just fine. And Mud Slap we also have. And that's going to lead us right into our next battle against Sudowoodo, the rock tree thing. We're going to sprinkle some water. He's going to wiggle at us, and we're going to go and hit him with 2 digs and knock him out. Now, he can go for low kick and maybe crit and do a lot of damage to us, but he doesn't. We get the knockout, get the win, and that leads us right into the next part of the game, which is going to be Lake of Rage, where we're going to go pick up Hidden Power. Now, I made a huge blunder here and chose the wrong Hidden Power. In this playthrough, you have 3 primary problems with this Pokemon. You have 3 gym leader / Elite Four members you really have to deal with. One is Chuck. Chuck is the fighting gym leader. Hidden Power Flying was my thought process. Pair that with the Sharp Beak, and we have a one-shot capability with Hidden Power Flying and Sharp Beak. And then I thought of Bruno. Bruno has 4 fighting Pokemon. This could be useful against him as well. And then the last person that's a problem is Jasmine, but Hidden Power Flying does not have any impact on that battle whatsoever. I chose the wrong Hidden Power. I need to choose a different one in the next playthrough, and you're going to see a couple battles later where it's going to help dictate which one. You can probably guess what it is, but I just chose the wrong one, and I'm upset at myself and kicking myself. I didn't even use this move to take out Chuck. That's what the crazy part is. We'll get to that here in a minute, but let's go ahead and go into our next battle of the game, which our next area, I should say, which is the Komodo Girls. And we have Return at putting out the output of 189 power with a combination of the gym giving a 10% boost to normal moves. Then we have the combination of Pink Bow giving another 10% boost to normal moves. And then the fact that we are normal, and so we have a Stab Super Effective Return, which is base power is 102, but with Stab it's 153. It's just an overly powerful move, and it's obliterating. It just obliterated Umbreon. Umbreon is a very defensive Pokemon. It's very difficult to knock out an Umbreon in one hit, but we just knocked out an Umbreon in one hit with Return. In fact, we've knocked out all these Pokemon with one hit. Is Johto going to be able to knock out in one hit? It is, because it's a very frail electric-type Pokemon. We get the win, and that leads us right into our next battle, which is against our rival. Now, our rival is going to come out with I think it's going to come out with a Ghastly. And Ghastly, unfortunately, Return cannot hit Ghastly, but that's why we have Mud Slap, and that's why we have Dig. Honestly, if we'd gone for Dig here, this would have been an even more convincing battle than it already is. But it knocks itself out after we hit it with Mud Slap. Magnemite comes out. Mud Slap will be a one-shot on the Magnemite. Zubat comes out. We're going to switch to Return on the Zubat, one-shot. Is Croconaw one-shot? It is a one-shot, so we don't take any damage. If we didn't done Dig, we wouldn't even got cursed. We will not learn Screech. Screech could have been useful. I maybe should have kept it instead of keeping Defense Curl. I could have used it, but I didn't. And now we're going to face Morty. Morty, he's a Ghost Poison Gym Leader. He's going to lead out with a Ghastly. Morty. Yeah. Well, that's Uncle Rick talking about Morty. Dig knocks out Ghastly. Dig knocks out the Haunter. And Gengar, we actually speed tied here. So we leveled up in speed tied and we still go first. We hit Dig. We don't knock it out in one go. It does put us to sleep. However, we only stay asleep for one turn. Knock it out with Mud Slap. And then Haunter will be a one-shot with Dig. Very easy, very convincing win over Morty. We beat him. We're going to exit and go right into Chucky Boy's gym. Now, I'm showcasing these battles because I wanted to showcase why I didn't add Hidden Power Flying to this moveset right now. So I could have got rid of Defense Curl or Mud Slap. Either one of them would have been fine to get rid of. And I thought to myself, well, we'll see how these battles go. And if I'm having problems knocking out the Hitmons, then I'm going to have problems knocking out other Pokemon. So then we'll have Hidden Power Flying. However, because of how we're leveled right now and how powerful Return is, we are having no problems one-shotting every Pokemon in here. And as we move on to the next trainer, we're going to move these rocks around a little bit. There we go. And we're going to move some rocks. We're going to face this guy. And he's going to lead out with some pretty good Pokemon. Mankey, and Primeape. One of my favorite Pokemons in Generation 1. But we're one-shotting as per tradition. We're just knocking them out. Is Primeape going to be able to tank one? If this Primeape can't tank one, I don't think Chuck's Primeape's going to tank one. So we move right into our Chuck battle. Didn't even save. Actually, now we're saving. And we're going to go right into the battle. We have 13 returns left. That means we've pretty much one-shot every Pokemon in here. And Primeape, is it going to be a one-shot? It is. Poliwrath, I don't think it's going to be a one-shot. However, it just goes for Take Aim, and I don't understand why. If it went for Dynamic Punch, it does have the one-shot capability and confusing me. But we beat old Chucky Boy, and we're going to move right into our battle against a red, hulked-out Gyarados. And with Return, we're going to go and hit it, and it's going to be almost a one-shot on the Gyarados. That's pretty impressive, to be honest, because Gyarados is a pretty bulky Pokemon. So we get the win, and we're going to move right into Price's gym. We skipped over the Rocket plotline. I'm not going to put you through that Boarfest, but we're going to face old Price. And Price is going to lead out with a Seal. Seal's going to go down to one return. Very good. Dugong's pretty bulky. I did not expect the one-shot here. However, we do get the one-shot. We didn't get a critical hit or anything, just natural damage. And Return on the Piloswine. He goes for Blizzard. It could have froze us there, so that could have been bad. However, we get a one-shot after he heals. Beat Price, knock him out, get the win. I'm going to move right on to Jasmine. We're going to help her out with Ampharos real quick. He's going to flash us because he feels so much better. He's very joyful. And she leaves, and we're going to follow her into her gym. And now we're going to face her. She is going to come out with a Magnemite. Magnemite will go down to a Mud Slap. At least I think it does. Nope, Dig. Dig will knock it out. So the only thing we got to risk here is getting paralyzed by the Magnemite. So if we miss a Dig, we can get paralyzed, but we get the knockout. And that leads us to her primary Pokemon, which is the problem Pokemon, which is where I think Hidden Power could help. Because there's two Hidden Powers that could be useful here. Hidden Power Water and Hidden Power Ice. Both of them could be useful. I think Hidden Power Ice might have more utility throughout the rest of the game, but definitely Hidden Power Ice here would be useful. Now, we've used Mud Slap a bunch, so the accuracy of this Pokemon has diminished severely, so that's why it's not doing that much damage to us. We are getting her down to lower health, and we just got to hit one more move. Mud Slap gets the knockout over Jasmine. Very convincing win. We didn't take a lot of damage there, and we're going to move right on to our rival. Our rival is going to come out, and this is a rival in the middle of the second Rocket plot line, more or less, in the game. Golbat comes out, returns a one-shot. Magnemite's next. We're going to go for Dig on the Magnemite, get a one-shot, very good. Dig will also be effective on the Haunter. Let's go ahead and go for Dig on the Haunter, very good. Now I've added Hidden Power now, and it's like I said, it's kind of worthless. It really had no utility in this playthrough at all. I haven't even used it. I don't even can't think of a battle where it became maybe against a bug catcher or something, or some grass Pokemon later in the game. But we get the win, pretty easy win over our rival. And this is part of our Claire rival sandwich, where we face Claire next. She is the Dragon Master. Now, again, Hidden Power Ice might be useful here, but Return is one-shotting all of our Pokemon. Dragonair goes down to one return. Dragonair number 2 goes down to one return. Dragonair number 3, does it go down to one return? It does. Is Kingdra a one-shot? That is a big question for me. I think Kingdra is not a one-shot. However, we do put her in healing range, which was stupid on my part. I should have gone for like Hidden Power like flying or something, maybe done like a third of the damage, and then knocked it out with return. However, we beat Claire, and we have to jump through hoops to get her badge, but we're going to move right on and face our final rival battle of the game, right before the Elite Four, which is in Victory Road. This battle is going to be a foregone conclusion. Sneasel is very frail, so return is a one-shot on the Sneasel. Golbat comes out. Golbat is also a one-shot. Very good. Magneton comes out. We can't go for return on Magneton and knock him out. We're going to go for Dig. One shot, very good. Dig will also one-shot the Haunter. So we have something for everyone here. We're really obliterating this team. Kadabra comes out. We're going to knock out the Kadabra. Very good. And the last Pokemon is Feraligatr. Is Feraligatr a one-shot? It is not. However, it tickles us a little bit. We get the win over our rival and head right on to the Elite Four. Now, before we head into Elite Four, we're going to look at our stats and our move pool for this Pokemon really quick. So our move pool is as follows. We have the item equipped as the Pink Bow. We could equip some other items, but I don't think we're going to change that up very much. We're going to stick with Pink Bow. Return, Hidden Power, Flying, which I said is worthless. Dig, and then Roll Out. Not really a lot of great moves here. Dig and Roll Out really aren't that high of an output, but they can, based on certain circumstances and matchups, they can be very useful. Let's go ahead and look at the stats of this Pokemon. Here's the the stats before all of our badges are applied. Attack is 114, defense 115, special attack is 112, special defense is 112, and speed is 92. And in the bottom left corner, you have our stats with the corresponding badge, modifying them: 128 in attack, 129 in defense, 126 in special attack, 112 in special defense, and speed is 103. So speed being 103 is not that bad for where we are in the game and how low our speed was to start the game. So let's go ahead and dive in the first battle of the Elite Four, which is going to be Will. Will is the Psychic Specialist. He's going to lead out with a Xatu. Hidden Power Ice would have been useful here, but I chose to go a different route. And like I said, in the next playthrough, that'll be something I utilize correctly. Return on the Xatu. Knockout, very good. Jinx comes out next. Return should knock it out. It's a very frail Pokemon with physical attacks. Executor comes out. Return. Is it a one-shot? It is not. However, got close. I think it hit a Reflect right there. So we are not going to do as much damage as I'd like. We got to wait for Reflect to run its course. We're going to go for Rollout so we can build it up a little bit. And we're going to go for one more. And then now with Reflect gone, and now all we got to do is hit Xatu with a Rollout. Very good. Get the win. Pretty easy win over Will. Did a little bit of damage to us, and that's just because of a stupid Reflect. I hate Executor. It's actually a cool Pokemon. I just hate facing Executor. And that leads us right into our next battle, which is against Koga. Koga's going to lead out with an Ariados. Return on the Ariados. Actually, Hidden Power Flying. No, we should have just gone for Return. It's way more effective. Look at the power in the top left corner. So I misplayed this, but it gives us a chance to set up Rollout, and Rollout will make it almost a one-shot on the Venomoth, but Return probably would have done better. Fortress comes out, and Fortress is smart. It actually goes for Protect whenever you start initiating Rollout. It does the same thing whenever you initiate Dig. So really what we got to do here is go for Return, even though it's not very effective. Hidden Power Water or Hidden Power Ice here would be super effective. This is what I mean by this is why we do 2 playthroughs. We've learned a little bit here. Return will 2-shot the Muck. Even with evasiveness, it's still going to knock it out on the next turn, as soon as it hits it again, I should say. We do get poisoned, so this battle becomes a lot of chance. We don't want to take too many turns to knock out the Crobat. We knock out the Crobat in one hit with a critical, so that's very good. We didn't accumulate any more poison damage. We heal up, and now we're going to face Bruno. Now, here's where I made a mistake, and it's not so much a mistake in what I'm facing, where, like I said, if you had Hidden Power Ice, the Onyx here is super easy, so that wouldn't have been a problem as well. But I did not buy any full restore, so it's actually a good thing here that I lost. And I also didn't save. I haven't saved since before I walked into the Elite Four, so that's the first mistake. Actually, the first mistake is not buying full restores, and the second mistake is not saving after any of these battles, but it's actually a good thing because now I can go buy some full restores after we lose this battle. And we don't have a great move for Onyx. Hidden Power, Water or Ice would make Onyx a one-shot, and we would not lose to Bruno. We lose to Bruno. That is the reality that this Pokemon has to face. Is its first reset of the game is against Bruno. If you saw a decent time gap there, that's why, is because I had to go out and reface Will and Koga before I got back to Bruno. So now we're facing him correctly. We still don't have a great move for Onyx. That's something we just have to deal with. Return knocks out the Hitmonchan. Machamp comes out, is Return a one-shot. It is not. It misses a cross chop, which is good. And we're going to go ahead and go for Return again. It gets in a healing loop. We're going to knock it out. And then we have one more Pokemon left, which is Onyx. Onyx, really don't have a great option, but we're just going to go for Return. It's not going to heal. I don't know why we're going for Dig. It's taken too many times. Return seemed like it was doing about a third. We should have just gone for Return. We almost lost this battle. However, Return gets the knockout, gets the win. And now we're going to go ahead and face the next member of Elite Four, which is Karen. She's usually one of the hardest members. because our first Pokemon is very defensive, so you can't knock it out easy, and it can confuse you and lower your accuracy right from jump. But we're going to go for return on the Umbreon. It does lower accuracy, however, we still go for return and get the knockout. And that brings out the next Pokemon, which is Vileplume. Vileplume will go down to 1 return. Very good, very powerful. Gengar comes out, dig. So hopefully we don't miss the dig, but we get the knockout, curses itself. And now we have 2 Pokemon left. As long as we can just hit, we're fine. Return on the Markrow, very good. And Houndoom comes out, is very frail. Do we hit? Yes, we do. Actually had no impact on this battle whatsoever. We get a pretty easy, pretty convincing win over Karen. And that leads us right into the next trainer, which is the champion, which is Lance. The liar with the flyers, as my guy Squidgy would say. He leads out with a Gyarados. Gyarados, this is why we added Rollout. Rollout will be, looks like a 3-shot on the Gyarados. It doesn't do that much damage to us. And now the next Dragonite will have a lot of damage output. Very good. Look how powerful Rollout's becoming. 1920. Jeez, that's a lot of power. Aerodactyl comes out. We're going to go ahead and go for return. Now, Hidden Power Ice would be pretty good on the Aerodactyl. So this is another example. Hidden Power Ice would be good on the Dragonites. We don't have to use Rollout. We could just use Hidden Power Ice. And we're going to hit the Charizard. Very good. And we have 1 Pokemon left, which is the Dragonite. And we're going to hit with a critical hit, knock it out, beat Lance. And we're going to go ahead and get our time locked into the Elite Four. And we're going to get it stopped at 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 37 seconds. Not a horrible time. It's not great either, but it's not a horrible time. There's definitely some room for improvement. But the big thing we have to deal with now is Kanto. And Kanto, for the most part, Kanto is easy, but there's 2 really hard battles in Kanto that, like I said, Hidden Power, having the correct Hidden Power would make one of these battles very easy, and we wouldn't have to deal with any more resets or anything. But you'll see that when we go to Kanto. I'll see you guys in Kanto. In Kanto, all the gym leaders were pretty easy, super easy, barely an inconvenience. Return really was just obliterating everyone. We also had Thunderbolts, we have Flamethrower, we got those from tutors. Now we're going to face Blue. Now Blue is a tricky battle because we don't have great things for Blue. We're at level 63, we might level up in the middle of battle here, but we're at level 63. We're going to one-shot the Alakazam with Return. He does a lot of damage to us, that's not fun. We did add the leftovers to replenish some health, but we have nothing good for the Rhydon. There's nothing here good. Dig does maybe a 3rd, and he hits with Fury Attack and sets up Sandstorm, so that's not fun either. And when we go underground, Earthquake does a lot of damage, so that's not fun. And we don't have a great option for the Rhydon. There's nothing I can add. There's really nothing I can add. We have Flamethrower. It's not going to do anything. It might burn them. That's really the only benefit to Flamethrower. And even Thunderbolt on the Pidgeot is a range. So we're not one-shot in the Pidgeot, so we take a little bit of extra damage. We do return and knock out the Alakazam. Alakazam is pretty frail, so I expected that. However, we still don't have a great move for the Rhydon. The best move here is just go for return. We don't want to risk going underground. If it hits Earthquake when we're underground again, it's going to do a lot of damage. And even when it hits Earthquake, when we're above ground, it still does a decent amount of damage. We're eventually going to get the knockout, but he's going to switch out his Gyarados. And we're going to go for return again. And it's just not great. This is not a great matchup for us. We've got to find a fast way to knock out the Rhydon. Again, Hidden Power Water and Hidden Power Ice, either one of those would make Rhydon pretty much a one-shot. Maybe a 2-shot with Ice Beam, but Hidden Power Water would be 4 times effective. So it'd walk it, not Ice Beam, I'm sorry, Hidden Power Ice. And so that is the solution to this battle. Not having the right Hidden Power is the problem with this battle, and is why this battle goes off the rails, and it's why we get a massive amount of, well, not a massive, but more resets here than we'd like. We get, what, 3 resets already? And we're on our 4th battle, so do we get the right RNG for this battle? We're going to find out right here. Return. Maybe if we kept Screech, that could have made this battle more manageable because we could have lowered his defense. And like I said, I'm going for Flamethrower right now, hoping to maybe get a burn or something like that. But we eventually get it knocked out. And if you get it knocked out with a decent amount of health, the rest of this battle is pretty easy. And now that we have knocked out the Gyarados, we have Reflect faded, so we don't have to worry about Reflect anymore. We can actually go for Flamethrower on the Executor. Do we knock it out? We do. And then Hidden Power Water would be super effective against our Arcanine right here. And Return is also a pretty effective move. Now he's going to heal here a couple times. So that's good for us. We're going to replenish some health. So he's going to go for multiple 4 restores in a row, which is not fun. But maybe Hidden Power Water could one-shot and maybe make it so we're not wasting time with full restores. But we do get the win over Blue eventually. That leads us right into the final battle of the game, which is Red. Look at how many resets we have right now. We have 4 resets. I'm going to pause this. We have 4 resets going into Red. We're going to get so many resets here. The first problem we have to deal with, and which is where a lot of resets come, is Pikachu. Pikachu itself isn't really a problem because he doesn't actually do anything, have anything that does a lot of damage. I mean, Thunderbolt and Thunder, I'm sorry, Thunder can paralyze. But the problem with Pikachu is it goes for Charm, which drops our attack stat by 2 stages. And with 2 stages being dropped, we really have no ability to knock out anything. And this makes this battle way too convoluted. So we already get our Charm lowered, and we're doing, look how little damage we did. We had critical hits, so we get lucky there. But look how little damage we do on Espeon. And Espeon's going to go for a Psychic. Look how much damage Psychic did. And it's just not going to work, and we're going to have to restart this. So a lot of the restarts and resets come from Pikachu just hitting Charm or hitting Thunder and paralyzing us. I really don't care if it hits Thunder and hits us, because we can still knock it out in 1 hit. That's not a problem. The problem is Charm lowers our attack stat. So all the other Pokemon get a frailer, weaker version of Dunsparce than Pikachu. Espeon is going to be a, looks like a 2-shot. 2-shot, yep, with a critical hit, so it was close. And then Snorlax right here, we don't have a great move for Snorlax. I think I was just trying to go for a Thunderbolt to get it paralyzed or something like that. But Return is the better move right now. And we're just not doing that much damage. We do get close here, and we knock it out, so we're in a decent spot. And if we could have just maybe tanked this Flamethrower coming up from Charizard, we could have potentially won this battle, and we could have won this battle at 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 15 seconds with our second attempt on on Red. However, we don't tank enough. We don't tank any damage here, and we get knocked out. And now it's a slew of just resets. We just skip from 6 to 17 resets because I'm showcasing a new strategy. I'm trying for rollout, defense curl, rest, and return as our strategy. So we got leftovers going on. We got our defense upped. Now we're gonna go for rollout or rest, one of the two. We did get our attack stat dropped by Charm, so that's not good. I should have just reset this a lot sooner than I did. I guess I didn't realize I got Charmed, but we should have reset that sooner. As soon as you get Charmed, you might as well reset on Pikachu, especially if you're running a physical attacker. If you're running a special attacker, it doesn't matter. But a physical attacker, the second you get Charmed, unless you're running a curse strategy, which I didn't want to do. I don't like doing that strategy. I think if every Pokemon does that strategy, I think it's very boring in my personal opinion. But there are some Pokemon where it's necessary. This Pokemon might be necessary next time. But I think with just a better moveset and better management of moves, I think we can do a lot better than we did in this playthrough. And we're going to come here at a much higher level next time. We're not going to waste our rare candies on this Pokemon before this battle. We did it right before we faced Blue. We gave it like a whole bunch. We beat Blue. I don't know if you noticed. We beat Blue at level 71. So now we're starting to get our stuff accumulated here with Snorlax. We eventually get the knockout. So now Venusaur comes out. And we're going to go hit again with rollout. And Venusaur looks like it's going to be a one-shot. Very good. Do we hit the Charizard? That is the question. We do not. Well, we would have. However, Charizard outspeeds and he hits a critical hit Flamethrower. So now we're facing this battle one more time. We're at 27 resets. I'm pretty confident this is the one we win. So we one-shot the Pikachu. Take a little bit of damage from Thunder. We're gonna couple shot the Espeon. We're gonna get a 2-shot. Very good. So we're gonna knock it out. We do have only 41 hit points left. So now we need to heal against the Snorlax. And we're going to go ahead and recover. We're going to hit rest. Maybe I should have put on a Mint Berry just to recover and wake up right away. But then we wouldn't have leftovers, so I think leftovers is the better choice. So now we wake up and go for Defense Curl. Defense 1, Defense 2. Now, Defense Curl and Rollout, there's a strategy where if you use Defense Curl, it actually doubles the output of Rollout. See, right now it says Rollout 67. That's because if you up Defense Curl, it doubles the damage. Now, it doesn't go up more and more as you use more and more Defense Curls. I want to make that clear. I'm just doing that because I don't want to take any more damage from Snorlax. Body Slam can do a lot of damage. Snorlax is a very bulky Pokemon. It has pretty good attack stat. So now we get paralyzed, and we're going to go ahead and continue rollout. I mean, if it lets us keep hitting it, that's good. Now we're fully paralyzed, so now we have to start over. So now we're going to go for rest as well to remove the paralysis. He's also asleep, so the goal here is that we can get to sleep, and if it was asleep as well, it would have been great because then we're not really hitting each other for that much damage. We are now at full health, which is good. We're going to start rollout again, and this is why these battles can take forever, because this is a long, drawn-out strategy where this Pokemon specifically, if it loses, it takes so much time. We've taken about 2 minutes on this battle alone, and that's not on this, not overall. We've taken multiple minutes on the overall battle, but this specific battle we've taken on, and it's been over 2 minutes. Rollout knocks out the Venusaur in one hit. Do we hit the Charizard? We hit the Charizard. And we can, if we tank a flamethrower, that's fine. We're gonna go for rollout on the Charizard. It's super effective. It's not a one shot. Oh my god, this could have been bad, but we tank another flamethrower, which is good. And now our final Pokemon we have to face is Blastoise. Blastoise, if we hit one more time, if we miss rollout, we could have lost, but we hit one more time, we win. And we're going to look at this time with red, 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 42 seconds. You saw how long it took. We literally walked in this battle with 4 resets, and we added 23 more resets. So there's definitely room for improvement. I think we can get this around like 1 hour and 30 minutes. Let's go and look at the tier list real quick with this Pokemon. And where does this Pokemon land? Well, an hour and 20 minutes tier, we're at 1 hour and 56 minutes. So, I mean, not 1 hour and 20 minutes, I'm sorry, 120 minutes. We're at 116 minutes and 40 some seconds. So this Pokemon lands right here. Dunsparce lands right behind Yanma. And Yanma had a couple playthroughs, so this is that's not bad for a first playthrough. There's definitely room for improvement. You've seen it yourself, how we have access to hidden power. Ice or water is going to solve a lot of these problems, and we're not going to take a lot of time near the end of the game. We walked into the battle against Red at like 1 hour and 40 minutes. So we can definitely get this right around 1 hour and 40 minutes, but I think we can make it even better. I think we can improve this Pokemon by a good 10 minutes. And there's one more thing I want to showcase. In the optimized playthrough, which we're going to do next week, which, by the way, look at the Dunsparce. You got the shiny Dunsparce, which is pink and yellow, and you got the normal Dunsparce, which is blue and yellow. It's a cute little guy. It looks like he's just got his eyes closed all the time. But this Pokemon has some egg moves that we can utilize on our next playthrough. I haven't quite decided. I think I know where I'm leaning. But Ancient Power is a good move, 60 base power, and it also has the opportunity to do a thing called the Omni Boost. If you don't know what that is, it can boost all of our stats by 1 stage, which is definitely good. And there's some flying Pokemon we got to deal with early, so that'd make the early part against Falkner super easy. And we're not going to use Bide. Bide is a horrible move. We could use Bite. Bite's pretty good, 60 base power, 100% accurate. That's not a bad move. It could be useful against some things early, especially against our rivals Ghastly. Definitely early. Rage, which we already have, so I don't know how we'd have 2 Rages. That doesn't make sense to me. And then Rock Slide. Rock Slide is not a horrible option. However, it is 75% accurate. And if I'm going to go with a rock move, I might as well go with Ancient Power. It is more accurate. Not to mention, it can also give us the Omni Boost, which is a huge boost in our stats. That's what's going to be coming out next Wednesday. What comes out this Friday is we're going to have our first playthrough of our ground type challenge of Generation 1, and that is Nidoking. Nidoking has a very impressive time, so I recommend you check that out on Friday. The last thing I'll ask you guys to do is make sure you like, comment, and then subscribe to my channel. Liking and commenting gets this out to more people, gets the algorithm going, and then subscribing tells me and YouTube you're willing to come back and watch, and we're at a good pace with our channel. Got some good stuff coming up. Got the optimized playthrough with Dunsparce. We got Gligar coming out here soon. And then we got the ground type challenge of Generation 1 Pokemon Blue. Very excited for all that stuff. But without further ado, that is my video. Thank you for watching. You guys are awesome. Have a good one, and I'll see you guys on Friday.